questions flying left to right. People tired, losing track. No one's got your back, but now you do. Sensei's got you. That's the Sensay. Knows what to say. Talks like a human. Works night and day. That's the Sensay. Saves your day. Built for the future. Here to slay. No more bots that loop and freeze. No more reps begging please. Sensei smart, it knows the play. Chat a team, working day and night. Questions flying left to right. People tired, losing track. No one's got your back, but now you do. Sensei's got you. That's the Sensay. Knows what to say. Talks like a human. Works night and day. That's the Sensay. Saves your day. Built for the future. Here to slay. No more bots that loop and freeze. No more reps begging please. Sensei smart, it knows the play. Chatbots powered the real way. You don't need more crew, cause Sensei's true. That's the Sensei. Knows what to say. Answers in seconds. Leads don't stray. That's the Sensei. Saves your day. Fuel it with Sensei. On your way. Pain always lives, all forever stored. Every lead, every call, Sensei scores. That's the Sensei. Rush away. Work gets done while you sleep all day. That's the Sensei. Leaves don't delay. Eye with heart, that's Sensei. Hey. You got a team, working day and night. Questions flying left.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this week's community call for Sensei. I am Dan Thompson, the founder and CEO here at Sensei, and as always, it's great to be giving an update on Sensei powered by Sensei, as the song goes. For anyone joining us today for the first time, whether you're watching live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, or whether you're just watching one of the recordings, Sensei is the leading chatbot provider for hyper-personalized chatbots that help with sales, customer support, and community management. These chatbots can be deployed onto your website. They can be deployed into your communities on Telegram and Discord, or even help you post on Twitter or help you to draft emails on your behalf. So they basically take a bit of extra personality that really sets them apart from the usual chatbot experiences that you find out in the market. This means you're not there just begging to speak to a human. You actually enjoy the natural language that the chatbots give you, and based off of either a personality, a CEO, a sales manager, or it could just be based off of a mascot for the company, a brand voice, or off of a brand ambassador and representative. As always, these community calls are part sort of interview where we bring up special guests, but also give you the opportunity to send in your questions over any platform, and we will strive to answer as many as we can towards the end of the call. So please do send any comments, questions. We will see them. We'll answer as many as we can. And for any of the community who's joined today that use our Quest platform, you can actually earn points by joining the calls and actually asking questions. And if your question gets selected and answered, then that earns you points. Those points contribute to our overall Quest leaderboard, which one day will be actually convertible into Sensei tokens. So it's a great thing to be a part of. We've got a big summer campaign with up to $20,000 worth of prizes up for grabs. So please do check out the Quest platform to learn more. Without further ado, I'm going to bring up our two guests today for a quick introduction. And so today we've got Alexander from our product team, and as always, Lars. So Lars, maybe you want to give yourself a quick introduction. We'll jump in with Alexander after.
Well, I almost don't need an introduction anymore because we've been here so many times. But I'm Lars, head of community, always the one in the chat, sitting with you, chatting with you, there for all your daily needs, even in my DMs. My DMs these days are so full because we have so many things coming up. The hackathon, the mod wars, all the new widgets, and all the new things coming out with Sensei. So my DMs I think I spend like 5 hours a day right now handling DMs just to make sure all our community is ready for everything. Right now, I'm sitting in the lovely Manila. We have a monsoon down here season, so right now it's raining lovely outside. I'm hiding in a little reception in one of the hotels I used to stay at and using their Wi-Fi for this. It is lovely to see you all and welcome, Alexander.
Yeah, we'll come back to some of the points on the latest community updates in a bit. And I'm in Mexico City, where it's also a bit cold and wet right now. So we'll go to Alexander, who's probably enjoying summer, slightly a bit warmer than we are.
I'm not. I was joking recently that right now in Poland we've got rain season as they've got in Equator. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
2 weeks straight of rain. But before that, guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are. Happy to be here. Happy to contribute to this community call, to this community, to this company. But yeah, weather is atrocious. Atrocious. It's not a summer. It's uh, I don't know even how to call it. It's mix between raining and maybe even more raining.
Sorry to hear that. Well, look, Alexander, we'll just jump in. I guess in your own words, it would be great to get a bit more of a deep dive on you, your background, what brought you to Sensei, and what you do at Sensei.
Okay, I'll try to be brief because I can talk about it a bit longer. But so shortly, I started my career in IT 14 years already when I was in the university. My first commercial work was being a QA. Then I was a software developer, project manager for a platform which was one of the biggest marketplaces globally. I think something between 7 and 8 marketplaces globally at the same time. At that time, we were top 200 website. We were having like up to 15 million paying monthly customers. That was one of the first companies that utilized influencer marketing in 2015. So huge traffic for 2015. A lot of interesting stuff. I worked also in the crypto industry previously in Ultra. I worked for Fortune 500 companies, actually Fortune 50 companies, even pharmaceutical company called Roche. So I've got experience from startups to scale ups to actually huge, humongous corporations. So that's quickly my experience. Right now in Sensei, I have a bit duality of a position. Primarily, I'm a product owner, but in general, I'm responsible for more like short-term execution of the stuff. So product owner slash project manager. You guys probably met Charlie, which is a product lead. If not, you're definitely gonna meet him. Great guy. But he's responsible more about the vision, about the working out stuff from the more strategical perspective with the leadership, whereas I'm responsible on delivering on those sometimes wild ideas. So that's in short. We've got a few teams. I can get deeper into that, but that's just a short intro about me.
No, that's great. And so when it comes to, as you say, being product owner, part product manager, and executioner,
Yeah.
what does that look like on a day-to-day basis? So obviously you're taking a bit of strategy, but then what does that involve?
Sure.
People who don't know what that role is.
So we put when Charlie also joined, I've joined same time as him, and we've put with Mark also kind of a framework, and with you guys also kind of a framework in which basically Charlie comes with our priorities to me, like high level priorities, and I take it into the smaller pieces, refine those pieces with the development team. We decide when to do it, when people are available to do it, how long it's gonna take us to do it, in what shape it should be delivered. Often the technical solution affects later on functionality, so this sometimes circles back to have understanding with this, if the change solution is reasonable, still within the means of what we want to achieve. And this is the process in which we start the delivery, and I oversee also the delivery with the developers. I organize sessions. I test it sometimes also myself. I organize the sessions. Working in a startup, you basically need to work around the circle with all hats. So from being QA sometimes to being product owner, to organizing, to deciding what actually functionalities on the lower level should get into that, to writing them down into the stories, and to think if they are feasible to do, and to overseeing their delivery on daily basis. We usually run something between 5 to 7 projects at the same time with the core development group, and additionally we've got customer success team, which right now also runs 1 or 2 projects. So yeah, it boils down to that oversight on those projects and their delivery.
Yeah, nice. And yeah, I mean, so when we actually brought you and Charlie in at the same time, it was, we were, I guess, a development team without kind of a bit of direction,
Structure, yeah.
and we had lots of shareholders who were, always throwing in different ideas and then pulling teams in all sorts of direction. So having people working in that product position is super important for growing teams, because it helps to balance out all those opinions from, let's say, Charlie's side on the strategy, and then also on the execution side, to make sure that things are seen through, to make sure that they're planned out properly, scoped, costed, and actually making sure that the teams are aware of how much they have to do, how much time to dedicate to something, what it looks like to actually have that as a completed item, and then also scheduling in things like bug bashes, QA aspects of double checking the work to make sure that what we're producing and actually sending out is of a decent quality.
And when to stop, I will add to that, because leaving project open, you could have them like beating it to the extent it would be ideal, perfect, but sometimes you need to settle for good enough, very good. I would avoid perfect in that sense, especially being a startup.
Yeah, exactly. I think that you get it to a stage that's usable for customers and without too many of the key bugs, and then allow for that customer feedback for you to shape how you build going forward. And it's something we haven't been the best at, but it's definitely something we are working on as a company to improve all around. And it's a very easy trap to fall into, when you're building out anything, to get distracted by new ideas, to not finish something or start something new, and then or just build something you think is going to be the best thing that people will want without real validation first. And it's very, and it's one of those things, you hear it as a common problem everywhere, but it's still something that just naturally you want to do. You want to just build something quickly and you want to get something out there. But the difficulty is really taking that step back and saying, do you know what, let's actually go and ask a few people, would they pay for what we're doing? And that's where, the structure that the product team brings is extremely important, because it does kind of add that extra layer of check to say, have we actually got customer requests for this, or are we just building something that is but we think is going to be good.
That's true. And on that sense, we also do some stuff besides internal validations. We also do user testing, outside user testing, validating the ideas. Marco likes to chase me with that, but we've got good tools to do it, and we often proceed that way, especially with the mostly customer-facing features.
Yeah, exactly. And so obviously you've worked in quite a few different companies and different sizes, different teams. What would you say is some of the biggest differences between working at something like Sensay as a startup environment and some of the bigger companies that you've worked for before?
Depends, because for example, when I was working for the pharmaceutical company, it had like 150,000 employees, 100,000 employees, 50,000 contractors on the at the same time. So but I was fortunate to be within the teams that were fairly agile and they were fairly quick to move. And even though we were delivering pharmaceutical products, products on which some people lives depended on, we also knew what the stage is good enough for that product. But so that's like startup spirit in a bigger company. But I also work in a and I've seen work in and seen one bigger company, don't want to name them, but the mentality and the pace of movement and pace of decisions and pace of delivering something was 150 times slower than Sensei. And I'm not exaggerated. Bigger teams, like much bigger team, which wouldn't be able to do what we do in years, what we do in a few months, because of how used they were of not delivering, how accepted the basically this scenario, this situation was, and how decisioning was impaired because of multiple layers and layers and top of layers of decisioning. Here at Sensei, what actually I think we are doing, one of the main things we are doing good, is that you can decide on small to medium stuff yourself. And so does the developers often have this freedom themselves. Strategic items, they need to be run by Charlie, by the leadership, but small to medium stuff, you can take the decision, you can run with it, you can experiment also. So this is something that even differentiates Sensei from the startups often.
And it's a really good point. And we obviously put a lot of effort into building the right teams for the right reasons and bringing in great people to work with. And I think we, again, not perfect, but we are building a really great company culture in terms of, people who want to be a part of it, getting things done, as you say, moving very fast. But what for you, what does a good team look like for you in terms of what makes you happy about working with, obviously development teams, and then senior management above you? How does that look like for you as a person who's essentially a bit like a quarterback, right? You're working with a lot of different teams. You're a very focal point around product. So what does that look like for you, who has to, be the balance between the actual developers, managers, everything really?
Well, for me, you've asked about ideal, and I've got like primarily two requirements for people to I work with. I work with very different types of people in my past. Some of them were not very nice. Some of them were pretty arrogant, egoistic. I honestly don't mind that. I mind that people are competent and somewhat communicative. So
Yeah.
if they are competent and somewhat communicative, and if they are proactive also with the stuff, that's perfect. That's a good combination, and I think we've got it with everyone in Sensei. Beside that, the people in Sensei are nice, but this is like added value for me. Minimum where I'm happy, I need to have competent people to work with, and I have semi-communicative people, not a rocks. I work with one great developer, amazing developer, who was able to deliver in past, not in Sensei. He was able to deliver a lot of stuff, like one person army, you can call those developers, but he was communicating. One sentence was a lot for him to communicate, usually yes, no, like you
Yeah.
would be talking with a rock.
I mean, communication is important. I get told off a lot by people I work with for giving my answers a bit too short and not really explaining myself properly, even though I feel like I am. I'm just bouncing between too many messages too quick. So yeah, definitely. And okay, so building when it comes to having a competent team around you, it makes a lot of sense. Communication, and then obviously as a part of your job, you want to build a great product. You want to build something that you're proud of and that you're happy to talk about. And I guess it's kind of the same question really. What does that look like for you?
Well, and that's a bit depends, because what a great product is for me is something that people will be happily using and they'll be engaged on that and they want to use it more and more and more. That's a good product, or product that has impact on the people's lives. But in both senses, it boils down to something impactful, and it can have impact even on a smaller scale. So that's that. In terms of the ideal, there's nothing like ideal product. All products are flawed. All products have something that can be improved. Even we do market competitors analysis. All of them are flawed to some degree, but it doesn't mean they're not good products. Some of them are really good products. Some of them products that we can learn from a lot. My point is that this is something, the products I want to build and I like the most working with are tangible and something that people are happy to use and they receive value from using.
Nice answer. And how do you think that, I guess, technological products overall have changed in the last few years, and where do you think AI is going to take them in the next few years?
I'll start backwards because I've got strong thinking about the AI and our market in general. I think like maybe in a span 10 to 15 years, the how let me use it differently. Let me say it differently, but how we use, for example, AI on the daily basis with on the product job is we use beside it like cutting corners with some descriptions and so on, and marketing materials. I just released for marketing materials for the new Studio UX. We just released new Studio UX this week. I've recorded a video of that, but based on this video, AI provided for me all the materials and I then populated. So this is how it makes life easier. But what also we do, and whether I'm getting it with that, is we are using sometimes Claude to do wireframes. So we've got a rough idea, and we would like to see how this idea would work. So we throw it into Claude, we wireframe it, a few different tools also to wireframe it and to see if it actually makes sense. And it's not usable. We cannot like copy paste it and make it as a usable solution yet. But soon, I think in the span of 2-3 years, it's gonna be for the simpler solutions, for the front end solutions, definitely, it's gonna be copy pasteable. And I think the depth gonna come in the next 5, 7, 8, 10 years, maybe, to the point some of the developer job will be redundant. So in future, I think in 10 years, maybe 15 years, maybe sooner, I don't know, but the depth of the AI will come to the point that you're going to be able to create very complex applications with only some very little technical understanding, almost bringing it to everyone. In practice, not going to be like most people will be able still to build complex applications, but many will. And that'll change completely the landscape of IT in general and the delivery of products in general. So that's my view. Only the question mark for me is the timing. If I'm gonna be spot on with the time, or maybe there's gonna be another breakthrough, or it's gonna be prolonged beyond those 10-15 years.
Yeah, nice. And you touched on this a little bit, but which are some of the key tools that you use in your role in as a product owner? What are some of the main sort of AI tools you use, and what are some of the biggest other advances? I guess you mentioned a couple, but other advances that AI has actually brought to your role.
That's a good question. So there are a couple of them. Like biggest tools, unfortunately, I still need to use is Slack, which is not that much AI driven. Although what we do in Sensay Good, thanks to some hackathons our colleagues done, is to have AI assistants embedded in the Slack. So in the way we communicate, and we always can record something with Mia. This is our internal agent that one of our colleagues done, Beza, done it in the Slack. So this is something useful, but this is something not available to like wider public. Maybe something worth thinking about on our side. Uh, what we do on the product side, first and foremost, is validating ideas with AI. And this is even through the EasyChat to market analysis to see what competitors do. A lot of those stats, if you know how to use AI, which models to use for what query and how to write the prompt, you're going to have pretty good results. And that being said, also, as I said, the modeling is the second part, validation of the idea is first part, and then shortcuts throughout the work, like writing user stories. Linear has very nice add-on right now for that. To oversee the delivery, even from minute details, like when we do the bug bash, we can do a screenshot of it and it can create a list of tasks I just import to Linear. So there are bigger steps, like conceptual steps, there are validation steps, there are market related steps, but there are very practical, everyday, minute steps you would normally do. And I hated doing those, but fortunately with AI, it's like time saver. Something that would take me normally, I don't know, 90 minutes, 80 minutes, taking me 5.
Nice. And actually, you mentioned there linear as well. So we use linear as a I guess a task management and development management tool,
Project management.
and project management overall. But there are obviously quite a few different project management tools out there. Do you have any preference? Have you seen any new ones that have been like completely overhauled with AI?
I've seen old ones that are fighting for survival. Very well, I think about Atlassian and Jira, which is number one tool because of the scale. But I'm happy to see actually the competition. Microsoft Suite I haven't seen recently with the usage of AI, so what they've done on it. I've seen what Jira has done, and it's not impressive. Linear is something like, I would say, third level of project management tools, and the way it integrates and the way you can use it right now, it's a bit it has an advantage, and I understand why people leave Jira or choose Linear instead of the Jira.
Yeah, I mean, yes, not the biggest fan of Jira myself, as I guess most people. I would say the same thing. I think it's by all means, but a lot of companies are kind of stuck on Jira because of just it's so ingrained in what they do, right? And then it's just next to impossible to move away from it.
You reminded me something, because about the being good enough. We had a discussion recently with Marco about this. Maybe not argument, but discussion. And I remember, because I work a lot with Jira also. Jira has some benefits. So, for example, it's got this Kanban board, which you can utilize for other departments. Also has linear, but from the perspective of experience in past. And Jira had a voting on the bugs. And I remember a situation that one of the bugs in Jira was voted like in top 5 in 2005, I think. And I was checking on that on 2014 or 15 about this, and it wasn't still solved. And they revised it. One of the top 5 bugs, like thousands of people waiting for that, 1,000 upvotes, people voting for that, and they said they revised it twice. They do not have intention of fixing it. It's gonna stay as is. I would probably find it still not being fixed. And this for them, it was good enough, and they provided software that for like people were happy to use, or somewhat happy to use, but they didn't have better alternative at the time.
And we have, for us, it's a nice point to talk about actually, is we actually have a bug bounty page on our website, and we have the ability for any white hat hackers out there to contribute to finding bugs or creating features for us. And people can get rewarded. I think it's $500 to up to $10,000 for submitting bugs and features to us. I guess
I want to say that people are getting rewarded because I'm the one ending up with those bugs. When our security analyzes it, then we are on the customer success ending up with fixing most of them. So yeah, I can tell you that it's true, and we are fixing them, and people are getting rewarded.
Yes, but I mean, it's a good system because we do actually act on getting things fixed,
Yes.
right? And we are rewarding people for submitting them, so it does work as a system. And the nice thing is we're starting to encourage the community to develop out different features for us. With open sourcing quite a lot more as well. How do you find working with open source communities when they are developing different features and bug fixes, as opposed to working with the sort of core team day to day?
It sometimes brings a level of difficulty because you cannot coordinate it. You are not sure whether something is going to be changed or fixed or submitted. But on the other side, usually those are passionate. So people passionate to work on something, they're contributing their free time to it. So I love to see it. I love to see it on our side. I love to see it also with the other communities I'm engaged in. Like, I'm personally passionate also beyond the AI and beyond the crypto with Home Assistant and home automation. There's also like vivid community there of open source, and I would love to see our community be so vivid
Yeah.
and lively. This is something we are striving to do, and this is something that will engage people to do definitely. Those people, just to finish the question, yeah, they sometimes it brings a level of difficulty, but in general it's worth it.
Okay. And slightly earlier, you sort of teased that we just updated our Studio UX.
Yes.
So what have been like two of the most recent releases, and what can everyone expect to see coming up in the near future as well?
So the most recent release was basically this week, which is the new Studio UX. Not sure if I should be saying about one of them, because one of them, the future one, is a bit secretive. But the other is the update for the knowledge base. So we are doing one-stop shop for the training and knowledge, where you're gonna be able to train your AI chatbot with much more resources, much more file types, much more URLs with the text directly. So it's gonna be in a modern spirit and much better than it is right now. Beyond that, I'm not sure if I can talk about some of the new features and new stuff. Like this is not sure
No
if I should.
spoilers.
No spoilers. Like I do not want to tease it them too much. But there is a lot of new stuff coming on, and roughly we are doing between, depending on the month, like 4 to 8 bigger functionalities, like bigger revamps, like a new Studio UX, for example, each month. So there's a lot of stuff ongoing.
Yeah, no, we've
in
got
order
loads
to
of really cool
deliver it.
things coming up. Well, look, I mean, thank you very much for your time today. And we're going to bring up Lars again. And just as a reminder for everyone in the community, please do ask any questions that you have on LinkedIn, Twitter, Telegram, Discord. We will see the questions and we will be able to answer them for you. So please do just comment on the posts, and we'll answer as many questions as we can. And a nice bit of, I think, internal feedback for Alexander there from one of his team, who's obviously sucking up for a bit less work next week. So Lars, it'd be great to get a bit of a community update. You teased some of the bits already, but it'd be great to hear what's been going on and what's what's exciting in the community.
So as everything has come up this week, like the token impact has a lot of people coming back to the community, so a lot of life are coming back into it. We see a lot of old chatters starting to come into the chat again. It's actually been very wonderful. So we also started this, what I mentioned about the mod wars. It's different aspects because last time you remember we had an interview and everything for new moderators in the chat. Now I thought this time around, like, let's see what they can actually do, because many times we miss the aspect, what can we bring to chat and everything. So right now I'm gathering all the ones that wants to be moderators for Sensay in to send not only an application, but a setup on how they would run a bi-weekly event inside the Sensay chat to keep community involved, to get more people involved in different areas. So what the plan is, like, until the end of this month, I'm gathering up all the applications and everything. And then beginning of next month, we are gonna test run them to see who is bringing in the most people, the most hype and everything into an event running live. And that's actually one thing I'm really looking forward for, to see how everything is gonna bring more in. And I'm really looking forward for it. Even our moderators are very hyped about it, because they look forward to see what kind of a new colleague can we find that we haven't thought about before. What kind of event can they come up with? That's why I didn't ask them to bring it into a specific channel, but send it to me in DMs with the application, what their insight is and what they want to do in this event. So I look forward for the beginning of next month. We're gonna run like these small events, like a whole couple of weeks, just running through events that our community and potential moderators has come up with, and they will be the specific host for it.
And obviously, everyone's super excited about token price when it goes up. We've had a great week. It's coming up on almost sort of almost 2.5x, 3x from the lows. So it's it's looking really, really strong. And I think we've got quite a lot of good updates, good partnerships. Loads of good new, as Alexander's talking about, loads of great new features coming out. And so we expect to see quite a lot more growth in the near future as well. So we're very, very excited for all of this. So that's why obviously it's great to see people coming back in the community, asking the questions and asking questions for us as well. So it keeps us nice and busy.
I love it because all of a sudden your DMs are full, the chat is full, and the most fun thing I always have is like when Chinese community, I have Chinese investors, we have like 50 of those a day. So I give them a challenge. Show me 100 investors and we'll open up a Chinese community because that show me what you could do before we actually do it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's, yeah, I mean, I get the same type of requests, people saying they want a job or saying they're a KOL or influencer. And then it's just as soon as you ask a few questions as to dig into them, sometimes it doesn't always match up with what they say. But yeah, so that's just usual fun community chats around those. But one of the very exciting things we've actually got right now is a new hackathon. So we launched the hackathon around. So the previous hackathon was around education. This hackathon is more to do with networking, sales chatbots, if you're e-commerce, real estate, and it's open now. There's a $10,000 cash prize at the end for any hackers out there who would like to get involved, any developers who would like to build on top of the Sensay API. Use our API documents. You sign up on Dora Hacks, and you can participate. And it's going to run for the next 2 months, taking us in September, with a big award ceremony happening in September for the winners. So very excited for this. Last time we had 5 fantastic submission or finalists that we came down to and when winners, and we really had some incredible developments that came at the end of it. So it's a really great thing to do, showing that our API can be built on, showing that what we've built can be used for different applications, different verticals. And we're really excited to see what the community, what the developers come up with for the next one. As even off the back of the last one, we've been speaking to the previous developers about job opportunities, about milestones and follow-up grants, and the ability for them to keep building out different ideas on top of the API. So we're very excited for the next round of hacks. I guess we'll probably jump on some of the community questions.
Gonna be lovely. So we have lockup. The most question everything asked, even in community, is there a major exchange listing in the near future? The question exchange, right?
So is always the question. I think there's always an assumption that with a big exchange list, it's going to make a big difference to token price, and the reality is that it doesn't always. Not that would really matter, because even if there were, we wouldn't be able to talk about it. As is always the answer. All different exchanges have a kind of a rule when you're going to get listed that you can't talk about it until they do. So even if we were going to get listed on one of the big ones, we wouldn't be able to say anything. We do constantly work towards it. We are aiming to get some big listings, and I think we're building the right things in the right way to attract the right attention. And as soon as we are allowed to, we will talk about any of the potential listings that we have coming up. So very exciting. And guys, just a reminder, if you do have any questions for anyone watching, please do drop the questions in the comments on YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and we will see some of them coming through. I guess on to the next ones.
So Olia comes in. What can you share with us now about the collaboration with the Artificial Superintelligence Alliance?
Yeah, so we last week announced the partnership with SingularityNet and in association with ASI, which is Fetch and Ocean. So, and I actually met the guys yesterday in Silicon Valley as well, which is great. And so the partnership there really is starting off by enabling the ASI 1 decentralized LLM as an option on our model garden. So that'll be the first step, which basically gives you an option to use Fetch's decentralized LLM as a model for your chatbots. So this basically just changes up, where and how you interact with different LLMs and where your data is stored and secured, which is a big step. I think what they're building is really, really incredible. We're also looking into the agent verse, which is from Fetch as well. So this is where they have thousands of different agents that can do different tasks, and how we can actually work to integrate them into our chatbots to enable our chatbots to be even more powerful. Then beyond that, we're looking at seeing how much more we can do with both Ocean for like how they actually implement data infrastructure in a decentralized manner for a bit more long term, and then also what more we can do with the Singularity Net ecosystem, both in terms of what we can do for the token, how we can get more involved in terms of their big picture of achieving AGI, and what else we can do when working towards these different versions of AI tech and how that all intertwines and how that fits in with some of the different projects they have in the Singularity Net universe, so to speak, because they've got something like 300 different projects that they're working on. And so we're seeing how that we can fit into that ecosystem as a provider, as an ecosystem partner, and what more we can do. So it's a really exciting one. We should see quite a lot more coming out of that, both in terms of revenues and customers, but also in terms of opportunities for new partnerships and new ideas and new tech and implementations as well. So thank you for the question.
Small questions, always big answers, right? And then we have one for Alex. What are you finding that clients like the most about Sensay utility-wise?
It's a great question. And there is one answer to it. Depth of AI. And let me explain it. You've got 3 levels of chatbots. You can classify it. All the dumb chatbots, which basically guide you through the predefined process. Then you've got a newer generation, which is chatbots based on AI. They can have better responses, worse responses, and there is us in that, and that differentiate us pretty significantly. This is what customers were telling to us: the depth of answers, the understanding of answers, the quality of answers. If you are able to train the chatbot properly, we're the best at this point. And this is something that definitely differentiates us, and this is something that customers, when they invest a time in a training bad habit chatbot, when they invest time of training chatbot, they got great results, and this is what they're happy about.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of great things that we build, and I think it really comes for me. It really comes down to the personalization. It really comes down to the ability to create that hyper personalized natural language experience where you can find yourself just engaging with the chatbot, not and you're getting answers obviously based on the training and the information it has, but you just find it a more pleasurable experience that can actually give you a better responses rather than immediately demanding to speak to a human just to get some kind of response. And I guess it's not something that people notice as much, but the accuracy of our chatbots is extremely high relative to the market and also compared to humans. Because I think everyone's like, oh, what if AI hallucinates? I'm like, well, people lie all the time. People make up stuff. Like people are, not, if they're not sure, they're quite likely to kind of like make something up as they go. So it's it's always a bit of a funny one when it comes down to the accuracy of the chatbots, like compared to humans.
Yeah, that's true.
Next question.
So we have Dex come out. Do you have anything for companies that want to do not want to give their data to big companies?
I would guess they are talking about like if someone doesn't want to give data to LLMs, I think is the problem.
Yeah, I think that's the one. Like the question out.
So in theory, I think that it's very possible for us to, it is possible for us to implement a version of Sensay onto, I guess, behind sort of private servers and actually implement with essentially a privately owned LLM, right? There's plenty of models out there now that are small enough to be able to be held on servers. And so our chatbot service isn't that heavy, and so it could be deployed in a way that doesn't necessarily have to give the data. But we also don't share data anyway. Like none of the data gets shared. On any of the APIs we use, we make sure that it's the it's specifically set to not share and train models and be passed on that way. Not that, you know, whether or not people believe that that's whether they actually like adhere to that is still to be seen. But definitely there are ways for some of the larger companies to make that happen in a way that's secure, sits behind their own servers and their own firewalls, and make sure that they can still get the same functionality out of it if they want to. So yes. I think we've got two more questions.
I have a few questions coming back in. So we have Mixwell. He's really excited about asking this question. Okay, we understand that you cannot talk about sex, but 24 hours is still very low. So not much opportunity to buy Sensei. So it somehow seems that you just do not want to get investors. Is that so?
So, I mean, the volumes are, I think, around 1 million per day for a project our size. That is, you know, quite decent. It's obviously not up there with the big guys, but it's, you know, that it's been shown to be good and to be growing. There's enough there to keep the markets liquid. You know, we always, and from the day one, from the last 15 months, have been saying that we are heads down building out the best product we can build, and building something that people want, and building a sustainable business first. We're not sitting around trying to, you know, directly attract investors to the project. We want to build something that builds a sustainable business model that can have, you know, revenue shared to buying back tokens, which creates a flywheel and actually generates, you know, real value to the community, not just some of the some of the pure Web3 token plays and meme coins that have actually absorbed a lot of the sort of marketability in there. But we have, I think, I think it's over like 40,000 token holders now. You know, we've got decent volumes for the size of the project, and we're constantly doing things that, you know, are building the project in the right way, that build long-term sustainability and growth. So while it might not seem that we are, you know, out there playing the full Web3 game, we are focusing on what we're building and who we're building it for, and making that the best it can be. And that in itself will mean that we are around in 5-10 years, whereas the other projects that, you know, you might compare us to now won't be. And so that's the difference. We're building for the long term. We're building to, you know, build an incredible team and culture and company as a whole. But it does mean that some of the, you know, short-term quick gains are probably ignored to avoid, you know, getting too distracted and just focusing on short-term wins. So that's, you know, I guess that's probably the best way of putting it. But, you know, we've been consistent in what we say. We're looking at building things for the future, and so anyone who finds us and for the right reasons and believes in what we're doing, you know, we'll get the same payoff that we believe that we'll be developing ourselves. So, you know, that's where we think you know, the real value is for the future, and we continue to work towards that. So we're sorry that doesn't always come across in terms of like how we communicate to community and what sort of goes out into the Web3 space. But right now we are, you know, driving the business forward in the best way possible, and that will benefit everyone in the long term. But thank you, Mixbell, for the question. I think we've got one last question now.
But one thing that's always good about it as well is that it gets the opportunity for many smaller guys to also come in and invest early on before they really go, as you say, in 10 years. So DSAX comes back. How many developers does Sensay have now?
I can pick it up. 14 devs, 2 UX designers.
Is it 14?
14 devs, 2 UX designers.
And maybe it's actually a good time to go and have a quick sort of, what's the breakdown of the teams? Like, obviously we've got a few different swim lanes and a few different teams of developers that work with us. How are they split up? Like, you know, as in not specifically who's who, but, you know, obviously what other teams, you know, what do they focus on? That kind of thing.
So teams are not working on the projects, and we pull out from different teams depending on the project needs. So we've got 3 primary chapters. The AI one, the API one, because we also provide API to connect and to use our services, and the web one. So the AI one, often we've got projects that involve AI and API for the backend to improve something. Right now we are working, for example, on OpenRadar, which is the tool that will provide the full LLM redundancy. So if OpenAI is down somewhere, we can switch to model based in different place, in different location. So we are not going to be affected by that. That's for redundancy. But on the other side, we've got also projects like new knowledge base, as I was saying, or analytics, for example, which we've also recently shipped, and we're going to be extending the analytics, which involve all sites. I'm gonna do a small sneak peek. We are planning to do for the conversation histories and for the analytics, we are planning to do summaries, common topics, and common questions, bringing more powerful tools to understand what your chatbot is talking about, with whom, what your customers are asking about, what are the common topics. And for that, for example, project, all sides needs to be involved, because we need AI to analyze the conversation. We need AI to summarize the conversation. We need API to be transport layer, also to make it available for customers using the API. And we need the dub side to show it, to visualize it for in our studio. So we are pulling people from chapters to given projects. This is the easiest visualization of it.
Yeah, nice. We got one quick last question as well, and then we'll wrap up.
So that's Mixpell again. What about development itself? Is code open source? Can it be viewed on GitHub or something else?
Yeah, depending on the we've got some proprietary part, and we've got some parts that are available and hosted on the GitHub. For example, Telegram integration is one of them that's on the GitHub, and we plan even to push it further. Not sure if I should sneak peek another side of it, so not sure how much I can tell about it. But yes, we have stuff on the GitHub available. You can contribute. You can contribute to the integration with the Telegram, for example, itself, all the integrations and other parts that are available on our GitHub. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've got a bit of an initiative to try and move some more features and items and products open source. But yeah, we keep the sort of core part of Sensay, the engine, the API, closed source for now. With that, that's all we've got time for. Alexander, Lars, thank you very much for joining. And for anyone watching today, if you have any other questions, reach out to us on Telegram, Discord, Twitter. We'll be happy to answer. If you want to find us anywhere, you can find Sensay with the handle @AskSensay on any channel, or myself @Sensay Dan on any platform as well. Thank you all for watching, joining us. Thanks for the questions, guys, and well, have a good weekend.
See you around.
What if your website didn't just look the part, but spoke the part too? Meet the Sensay AI chatbot, powered by AI agents to deliver a fine-tuned, human-like experience to all of your customers. Trained on your company's data and tone, so every visitor gets a personal welcome from the people behind the company. Your best salesperson, on call 24/7. Your founder, greeting visitors at scale. Your brand, coming to life one conversation at a time. Forget "how can I help you" and robotic replies. This is AI with personality, memory, charm. It is a conversation. Sensay AI chatbots, built to sound like your best self, ready to talk to the world.